make America great.
Saya bertekad memberantas korupsi.
People say young people don't trust politicians because they're cynical. But cynicism isn't the cause, it's the result. Distrust didn't start with Gen Z. It built up over time as the same political patterns repeated across different countries. Indonesia is just one clear example of how that trust slowly breaks down. What happens when trust is broken? Trust in politicians depends on believing leaders act in the public's interest. But when corruption cases keep appearing year after year, trust becomes difficult. In Indonesia, corruption cases involving public officials from multiple parties continue to surface, not as rare scandals, but as recurring news. When leaders campaign on anti-corruption, but the system keeps producing the same outcomes, people stop believing change is coming. Public frustration has even spilled into protests. In recent years, thousands of students and citizens demonstrated in Jakarta over government decisions and political privileges, showing real dissatisfaction with political elites. When corruption feels routine instead of shocking, trusting politicians starts to feel unrealistic, not hopeful. Across the world, political promises sound familiar. Reform, justice, helping ordinary people, making the country great again. This isn't unique to the US. In Indonesia, young voters have witnessed multiple election cycles built on reform-focused campaigns, especially promises to strengthen institutions and fight corruption. But after elections, progress often slows, priorities shift, or controversial policies appear instead. For example, student movements in Indonesia have repeatedly protested reforms they believed weakened anti-corruption institutions. This pattern exists globally, across Asia, Europe, and the West. Over time, people stop listening to promises not because they don't care, but because they've learned that words rarely become action. Another major reason trust fades is feeling ignored. Today, criticism is everywhere. Social media, protests, petitions, public forums. Yet in many countries, including Indonesia, young people feel major decisions are made before public input truly matters. Controversial laws and institutional changes have passed despite widespread criticism and demonstrations. When participation feels symbolic, like people are allowed to speak but not influence outcomes, trust fades quietly, not through anger, through disengagement. Gen Z grew up with access to records. Old speeches don't disappear. Past promises are searchable. Contradictions are easy to compare. Globally, surveys show declining trust in political institutions, especially among younger generations. So when politicians repeat the same talking points year after year, Gen Z doesn't see optimism, they see patterns. Lower trust isn't rebellion, it's a rational response to repeated disappointment. Young people don't distrust politicians because they hate politics. In fact, many still care, shown through student protests, youth movements, and online activism, from Indonesia to Europe to the United States. They distrust politicians because history taught them caution, and until actions consistently match words, trust won't return anywhere.